Hey, I'm Brandon Moran for Creek Currents. Today I'm at Las Trampas Creek where a team of volunteers is clearing out the Arundo. And if you're not sure what Arundo is, it's the giant bamboo, corn, grass stuff right behind me. Let's get to work. I'm here with Leslie Hunt. She's with Friends of the Creeks. Leslie, what are we doing today?
We're taking Arundo out of the creek, Brendan. It's the most invasive plant we've got in the creek channels around here, in fact everywhere in California. It takes away habitat because nothing can grow in it, nothing can live in it, and so every bit of wildlife in the creek is affected, and of course it blocks the view of the water. So the people on the banks aren't getting anything out of the creek either when we've got Arundo. It is very hard to kill. It takes us several passes. We'll get about 2/3 of it the first time, and then we'll make another pass and then a third one, and we hope by then it's more or less gone. We can dig out a small amount at the end if we have to, but for large amounts, that just isn't practical.
Is it just a matter of cutting them with very large clippers and getting rid of it, or do you have to get underneath and get the roots out, or tell me about that?
On the first passes, it's clippers. We cut about a foot high so that there's still some left. We can see where we've been, what we've done. We cut it flat because the edges are sharp, and then we paint it with herbicide. This is not a job that you can do without herbicide. We're all for IPM, but this is one job where it's not enough. So we use it. I was trained by the city to do it so that I can follow safety procedures and whatnot.
So you've got people out here that are on a Friday, they're volunteering, right? Why is that important?
Yeah, it's really important to get people out here and in touch with the watershed and reconnect with nature, and to kind of understand that we can make it better and we can make a difference. And even though we have problems and environmental issues, we could take actions every day, small actions to make it better for everyone.
Because a lot of this is, if you don't come down here, you may not even know that this would be an issue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Things like Arundo, habitat problems associated with that. But, also looking down at all the trash, you don't really understand. There's really no way. The trash doesn't go away.
Right.
So a lot of it can end up in our creeks and then in the bay and the ocean.
I'm here with Mike Ancio. He's a volunteer. And Mike, you're kind of in charge of helping find all this stuff, right?
Yeah, I was asked by a friend if I could help find this stuff, because if you look back here, it's pretty obvious if you're standing on the creek bank what Arundo looks like. Yeah. But there's about 300 miles of creek in the Walnut Creek Watershed, and you can't just walk along 300 miles. It's on private property and under trees and all sorts of stuff. So we're trying to brainstorm ways to do that. And what we found is if you look at aerial imagery, sort of like Google Maps aerial imagery, you can fly over and you can see a lot of this Arundo. It sort of sticks out into the creek and you can see the fingers out there. So we created a map that shows where a lot of the patches are.
So you're just spending time looking at a computer screen, clicking around and flying around like as if you're on Google Maps?
Yeah, it's sort of a game at first. You go through and you fly over and say, oh, that looks a lot like Arundo, and then draw a little polygon around it so you can say that's a patch of Arundo or might be a patch.
Right.
And then you actually have to go look at it to see if it is a patch. And what we find is that most of the time if we see it from the sky, it's a patch. And there's also some more of it around there. So it's a really good start. And like I said, we found 200 to 300 patches so far.
I'm here with Sean Cochran. He's with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and Sean's going to talk to us about what Arundo does to the fish.
Sure. So Arundo, as you can see, it's a perennial grass. It was originally brought here as a method for essentially preventing erosion. It's a hydrophyte, so it grows in riparian areas. It's planted a lot along stream corridors, canals, and levees. What makes it such a pervasive and invasive is the method by which it grows. It spreads very rapidly. So once a plant becomes established, it very quickly can form a dense stand of many different stalks of Arundo, essentially smothering out native riparian vegetation. As far as fish and wildlife, versus native riparian vegetation, it's much lower habitat quality for terrestrial species that utilize riparian areas. And then for fish, the main issues really is that it obviously is a vertical plant. It doesn't provide the shading benefits that kind of cool stream temperatures like native riparian vegetation does. Also, one of the other issues is that it's a very water-thirsty plant, so it has very deep tap roots and kind of central California stream systems where we have low summer stream flows. It can actually exacerbate the low stream flow issues, making it kind of a little bit more stressful for our native fish species.
And right now, we're on somebody's property, right?
We are. This is private property, and that is unusual for us, but we would like it to become much more a common thing. Most of the creek is owned by private property owners, and if we're going to be successful at eradicating Arundo, then we need to get them to buy in. And we can train them how to get it off their own property. Sometimes we can come and help them get rid of it, but the more we get, the more gets replanted with native creek vegetation, the better the creek's going to look, the better it will support wildlife, the greener we'll all be.